The quantum sensors aboard the Viridian defense platform Eternal Watch erupted in a cascade of warnings. Admiral Rena Val's crystalline form pulsed with deep indigo waves, a sign of intense focus among her species. The vessel that had just emerged from the quantum fold was unlike anything in their database. Unknown configuration, reported observer Nilix, her crystalline structure shifting between shades of emerald uncertainty. The vessel appears to be adapting. Indeed, the massive ship's outer hull rippled like liquid mercury, its surface patterns morphing and flowing in mesmerizing ways. What initially appeared as weapon ports transformed into intricate geometric designs that danced across its surface. The vessel was both beautiful and terrifying. "It's broadcasting," announced Communications Officer Jix. A human voice, calm and authoritative, filled the command center. "This is Admiral Theron Nash of the Earth vessel Aegis. We come with urgent news and a proposal for alliance." The command center fell silent. Humans, the species that had been the subject of countless debates in the Viridian Council, they had detected fragments of human broadcasts, piecing together an understanding of a species that simultaneously terrified and fascinated them. "Admiral," Rena responded, maintaining diplomatic composure, "your arrival is unexpected. Our records suggest human technology relies primarily on mechanical systems, yet your vessel—" "Much has changed, Admiral Val," Nash interrupted. "We've had to evolve quickly. The same threat that forced our advancement is now heading toward your systems. The Void Eaters are coming." Before Rena could respond, the defense platform's sensors screamed again. Multiple quantum signatures appeared at the system's edge, massive, dark shapes that seemed to absorb light itself. "Void Eater scout vessels," Nash's voice carried an edge of steel. "We've been tracking them. Let us prove our intentions by standing with you against this first wave." As if to emphasize her words, the Aegis's surface transformed. The flowing patterns crystallized into distinct geometric shapes, weapon arrays emerging from what moments before had been decorative elements. The diplomatic vessel became a warship in seconds. "You tracked these entities to our system." Rena's form pulsed with suspicion. "Why should we trust you?" "Because, Admiral," Nash replied, "what you're seeing isn't their main force. This is just the advance guard. The real invasion fleet is coming, and neither of our civilizations can face it alone." The first Void Eater energy lances streaked across space toward the defense platform. The Aegis's surface rippled again, spawning a swarm of smaller craft that moved with impossible precision to intercept the attacks. Each interceptor seemed to flow around incoming fire while returning their own, a dance of liquid metal and quantum energy. Rena watched as the human vessels demonstrated maneuvers that defied conventional physics. Their nano-construction allowed them to literally reshape themselves mid-battle, adapting to each new threat instantly. "Temporary permission to engage granted," Rena declared, making a decision that would echo through history. "But know that any aggressive action toward Viridian assets will be met with immediate and overwhelming force." "Understood," Nash replied, and Rena could hear the smile in her voice. "Let's show these Void Eaters why they shouldn't have brought a fight to either of our doorsteps." As the battle began in earnest, Rena couldn't help but wonder, was this the beginning of a powerful alliance, or the first step toward their civilization's greatest mistake? The answer, she suspected, would become clear all too soon. "This is only the beginning," Nash transmitted as her vessel's nanoswarms engaged the Void Eaters with devastating efficiency. "The real test of trust between our peoples will come when you hear what we've discovered about who's really behind these attacks." Rena's crystalline form pulsed with anticipation and dread. Whatever the humans had discovered, whatever had driven them to seek out the Viridians directly, it had to be significant enough to risk everything on this first contact. As they watched the battle unfold, Rena prepared herself for revelations that would change their understanding of the galaxy forever. The aftermath of battle left an eerie quiet in its wake. Inside the Viridian defense platform's primary conference chamber, Admiral Rena Val studied Admiral Nash and her human delegation with careful attention. The holographic display between them showed something that defied conventional physics, a massive structure floating in deep space that looked like a wound in reality itself. 3 months ago, we detected this, Nash explained, her voice grim. It appeared at the edge of human space, consumed an entire star system, and vanished. We call them Void Eater motherships. They're not from our galaxy. The Viridian Council members' crystalline forms flickered with various colors of distress. Dr. Corus Vin, the lead Viridian quantum physicist, moved closer to the hologram, his azure form pulsing with scientific curiosity. Impossible, he declared. The energy requirements to consume an entire star system would be. Nash gestured, and a hologram changed to show a recording. A massive vessel, similar to the structure they'd seen before, emerged from what appeared to be a tear in space itself. As they watched, tendrils of dark energy reached out from the vessel, wrapping around a star. The recording ended with the star being pulled into the construct, leaving nothing but darkness behind. The scouts we fought, Nash continued, are just fragments of these motherships. Each one is capable of spawning thousands of scouts. They're not just consuming matter, they're consuming space itself, breaking down the fundamental laws of physics in our galaxy. Why? Rena demanded. What could drive entities to such destruction? Nash's expression grew even more serious. Fear. They're running from something worse, something that exists in the spaces between realities. The chamber fell silent. Even the ambient crystalline harmonics that usually filled Viridian structures faded to nothing. How long? Rena asked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. 2 weeks, maybe less, Nash replied. That's why we came directly to you. Humanity has developed weapons that might be effective against the Void Eaters, but we need your quantum-fold technology to deliver them effectively. Dr. Vine's form darkened with suspicion. Convenient that you appeared just when we faced this threat. How do we know this isn't an elaborate deception? Nash's response was immediate and passionate. Because we've already lost 3 colony systems. Because every simulation we've run shows that neither of our civilizations can survive this alone. And because, she paused, making a decision, we've brought proof. She activated a control on her wrist, and suddenly the conference chamber sensors detected a new quantum signature. A small vessel appeared from cloak directly outside the defense platform's main viewport. Its design was neither human nor Viridian. It was part of a Void Eater scout ship, somehow captured intact. Inside that vessel, Nash explained, is the quantum core of a Void Eater scout. Dr. Vin, with your expertise in quantum mechanics, you'll be able to verify everything we've told you. But more importantly, you'll see why we need to work together. The Void Eaters aren't just consuming stars and planets. They're consuming probability itself. Every system they devour narrows the possible futures where our civilizations survive. As preparations were made to examine the captured quantum core, Rena noticed something in Nash's expression, a hidden fear behind her confident exterior. The human admiral was holding something back, some truth even more terrifying than what had already been revealed. The fate of both their civilizations now rested on what they would discover in that quantum core, and on whether 2 vastly different species could learn to trust each other before it was too late. The quantum core revealed its secrets slowly, like a flower of darkness blooming in reverse. Dr. Vin worked alongside the human quantum specialist Dr. Rama Patel, their vastly different approaches to physics complementing each other in unexpected ways. But what they discovered shook both their civilizations to their foundations. The Void Eaters aren't just consuming reality, Dr. Patel explained to the assembled admirals. They're trying to change it. Each system they devour adds to their understanding of how to manipulate the fundamental constants of our universe. To what end? Rena asked, her crystalline form pulsing with concern. Before anyone could answer, the defense platform's alert systems screamed to life. Multiple quantum fold signatures detected, but something was wrong. The signatures were distorted, corrupted. Impossible. Observer Nilix breathed. They're using our own quantum fold technology against us. Through the viewport, they watched in horror as Void Eater vessels emerged from quantum space using perfect replicas of Viridian fold drives. Their dark hulls now bore geometric patterns that mimicked Viridian crystal architecture. How? Rena demanded, her form flashing dangerous shades of crimson. This technology is our most closely guarded secret. Nash's face hardened as she looked at the tactical display. There's only one way they could have obtained it. We have a traitor in our midst. The revelation hit the chamber like a physical force. Trust, so carefully built between humans and Viridians over the past weeks, suddenly felt as fragile as crystal. Security teams swept through the station, but they were already too late. In the quantum physics lab, they found Dr. Vin's assistant, Lyrix Tell, interfacing directly with the captured quantum core. His crystalline form had turned pitch black, corrupted by contact with the Void Eater technology. You don't understand. Lyrix's voice resonated with unnatural harmonics. I've seen what's coming. The Void Eaters aren't our enemy. They're trying to save us all. The changes they're making to our reality, they're necessary. Necessary for what? Dr. Paddle demanded, her hand hovering over the emergency containment controls. To make us strong enough to survive what follows. Lyrix replied. His form began to fragment, black crystals spreading across the laboratory floor. They showed me the truth in the quantum core. Reality itself is sick, infected. The Void Eaters are the cure. The battle that followed tested every bond of trust between humans and Viridians, as corrupted quantum fold drives tore space apart around them. Admiral Nash and Admiral Val found themselves fighting not just the Void Eaters, but the very fabric of space itself. The quantum core, Dr. Paddle shouted over the chaos of battle. Lyrix didn't just give them our technology. He showed them how to combine it with their own. They're not just consuming reality anymore. They're rewriting it. Through the command center viewport, they watched as reality itself seemed to crack. Stars began to flicker, their histories being rewritten in real time. The Void Eaters weren't just changing the present, they were changing the past. Admiral Nash, Rena's voice carried an edge of desperate inspiration. Your nanotechnology, could it adapt to quantum manipulation? Nash's eyes widened as she understood. A quantum nanohybrid. It's never been attempted. But we don't have a choice, Rena interrupted. Either we find a way to fight them on their own terms, or we watch them rewrite everything we are, everything we've ever been. As the battle raged around them, human and Viridian scientists raced against time to merge their technologies. But even as they worked, a terrible question lingered. If they succeeded, would they still be themselves when it was over? Or would the very act of fighting the Void Eaters on their own terms change them into something else entirely? The answer would come sooner than any of them expected, and it would change the very nature of both their species forever. The quantum nanohybrid technology emerged from desperation, human adaptability merging with Viridian precision in ways that defied conventional science. But as Dr. Patel interfaced with the first prototype, she discovered something that changed everything. These aren't random attacks, she announced to the assembled command staff. The Void Eaters are following a pattern, rewriting reality according to specific parameters. Look at the stellar configurations after each attack. The holographic display showed star systems before and after Void Eater incursions. In their wake, they left precise geometric patterns, a complex mathematical language written in darkness. They're not destroying reality, Admiral Nash realized. They're trying to communicate with it. Before anyone could process this revelation, a new quantum signature emerged, larger than anything they'd encountered before. The entity that appeared defied description, a mass of twisted spacetime that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. By all that exists, Lyrix's corrupted voice echoed from his containment field. They've called it The eternal hunger has found us. The thing that appeared wasn't just consuming space, it was unmaking it. Stars visible through its form didn't just disappear, they retroactively never existed. This is what the Void Eaters are running from, Dr. Patel breathed. Their consumption of reality, their attempts to rewrite physical laws, it's all been to stay ahead of that thing. Admiral Rena's crystalline form pulsed with sudden understanding. The quantum patterns after their attacks, they're not random. They're trying to strengthen the fabric of space-time itself. The Void Eater fleet, instead of attacking, took up defensive positions around both human and Viridian vessels. A transmission cut through their communications, finally decoded. Children of matter, we have watched you join forces, combine your understanding of space and possibility. Now you must listen, and quickly. The tactical display shifted, showing complex technical data streaming faster than any human or Viridian could process. Dr. Patel's eyes widened as she understood. They're showing us how to modify the quantum nanohybrid technology. With these changes, we could create something that doesn't just fight the eternal hunger. It could rewrite the fundamental laws that allow it to exist. But there's a cost. Lyrix interrupted, his corrupted form stabilizing for the first time. The power required. It would need the combined life force of an entire species. One civilization must sacrifice their entire consciousness to power the weapon. The command center fell silent as the weight of this revelation pressed down on all present. The Void Eaters continued their desperate defense against the eternal hunger, buying them precious time to make an impossible choice. Which civilization would choose to have never existed at all? Admiral Nash stepped forward, her eyes blazing with the kind of inspiration that had driven humanity from stone tools to the stars. There might be another way. Instead of sacrificing one species, what if we combine the consciousness of both? Dr. Patel's hands flew across the quantum interfaces. The nanoswarms, they're already capable of storing and transferring consciousness, and the Viridian quantum fold drives can manipulate the fabric of reality itself. Together, Admiral Rena completed, we could create a new state of existence. Neither human nor Viridian, but something that could exist in the spaces between realities. The eternal hunger drew closer, its presence already beginning to fray the edges of their reality. The Void Eaters' defensive line buckled but held, their ships sacrificing themselves to buy precious seconds. What followed defied description in any physical language. The combined consciousness of humanity and the Viridian Confederation flowed through the quantum-enhanced nanite networks. They didn't simply merge. They evolved, transcended, became something new. Where once there had been ships crewed by separate species, now there existed a unified consciousness that spanned multiple dimensions simultaneously. They could see the eternal hunger for what it truly was, not a destroyer, but a fundamental force of reality trying to maintain balance in a multiverse that had grown too complex. The newly transformed beings reached out not with weapons but with understanding. They touched the void between realities not as invaders but as mediators. The eternal hunger paused in its advance, encountering for the first time something it could neither destroy nor unmake. Understanding flowed both ways. The hunger that drove the entity wasn't malevolent. It was the multiverse's immune system, trying to prevent the collapse of reality itself. But now, with the emergence of this new form of existence, there was another way. The beings that had once been human and Viridian spread through the quantum fabric of space-time, creating a new network of consciousness that could regulate the flow of reality without the need for destruction. The eternal hunger, recognizing a force that could maintain balance without unmaking, began to withdraw. The Void Eaters, their long mission finally complete, initiated their own transformation, joining the new consciousness in its work of maintaining multiversal harmony. In the space where the battle had raged, reality stabilized. The new consciousness, carrying within it every memory, every achievement, every dream of both humanity and the Viridian Confederation, spread through the cosmos. They had not sacrificed their existence but transcended it, becoming guardians of a multiverse they were only beginning to understand. And in the depths of space, on countless worlds throughout reality, new civilizations looked up at their skies and wondered about their place in the cosmos. When they were ready, when they had learned to reach across the divisions of species and work together, they would find not destruction waiting for them, but invitation, a chance to join something greater than themselves. The story of humanity and the Viridians became legend, told across a million realities, not as a tale of sacrifice, but as proof that the greatest achievements come not from standing alone, but from reaching across the void to join hands with the unknown. In choosing to face the ultimate threat together, they had become something entirely new, proof that evolution's greatest leaps come not from competition, but from cooperation. In the end, they had not merely survived. They had shown the universe itself a new way to exist.